and gentlemen. Welcome to Free Game, episode 41. And I got a special guest with me here today. He is not only a good friend of mine, but he is the assistant coach and the recruiting coordinator for the number 8th ranked undefeated Nebraska Cornhuskers men's basketball team, Coach Paydn Borders. Paydn, well, I just got to call you Coach now.
Yeah,
Coach,
nah,
Coach, thank you for joining me. How's it going? How excited are you for this season? And, just tell the people, how excited we are.
first of all, DiJon, I appreciate you, man, having me on. It means a lot. Look forward to talking with you, and everything like that. You don't gotta call me coach, man. You don't gotta call
All
me
right.
coach, but I appreciate it. No, it's been amazing, man. It's been a great ride. But we still show up the next day, ready to work, doing the same things we've been doing to get to this point. So just trying to stay locked in, avoiding all the media and everything telling you how good you are and all this, just really trying to hone in on the work right now. And just staying focused on the main goal because again, we haven't achieved any goals that we had preseason yet. But obviously very happy to be here at this point. So
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that because I had a question about it, but I'll bring it up now since you brought up the point. Dealing with success when it comes to coaches coaching their players, how to deal with the success. Like you said, the media, you guys are being stamped as the new Indiana in college football. So a lot of that comes with a lot of pressure, and these guys are young kids. So as a coach, how do you coach kids to handle the success and continue to take it one game at a time?
sure, it's hard simulating it until you're in it. And so it's a lot of honesty, it's a lot of transparency, like as far as in the film session, still showing them the mistakes and things that we've made to this point. The record says we're perfect, but the film doesn't. So, like we had a film session this morning after a great win, a good win at home. It was electrifying, great crowd, everything like that. And, you know, if we kick our feet up and just show everything that was good in that game, we don't take anything away from that. And, obviously we go on the road here next to Northwestern, and it's going to be a battle test for sure. So if we just kick our feet up and think everything's good and don't learn anything, that's going to get you, it's going to get you one of these nights, any night in the Big Ten, right? So, we approach it, day by day, and bring all the mistakes to light, take it, own it. Um, so you just get rid of that complacency that creeps. It's just human nature. We tell the guys that, human nature right now is going to tell you to relax. You're doing great. Everything you've done to this point is good enough. We don't need to improve. We just keep doing what we're doing. But we know that we're gonna get people's best now. We're gonna be targeted. So we have to turn it up a notch, day by day. How we practice, increasing the habits. If we're starting off slow in a practice, it's unacceptable. That's not how we got to this point. It's urgency, it's communication, everything. So making sure that now as coaches we don't allow slip ups. We stay on these guys just like we were 0-0 and we were teaching these guys back in May. So
And that's a very good mindset. Some of the greatest coaches in any level sport, basketball, football, it's setting a standard and keeping that mindset. So obviously you guys are perfect. You guys have beaten good teams. You guys have won the close ones and, setting that standard and keeping that mindset. You guys are obviously, doing a good job at it. But I want to kind of get back off the team and talk about you per se. Kind of tell the people, assistant coach, recruiting coordinator, what's your day to day, what's your daily responsibilities, what's your job description? Like, what do you do on and off the court?
sure. Yeah, so I mean every day, this season, um, due to roster limitations, I've actually had to play every day on the scout team. So yeah, I don't know. I've been in a lot of ice baths and
Yeah.
heat and pad, all that stuff, but it's been good. Just that's what the team needs me to do, and that's where we're at right now. So I've been playing quite a bit right now, in practice, but it's good because obviously the scout team in our program is super important. So it's allowing me to, coach some of these guys who are redshirting, guys who, who have been in our program for a few years or still in the development stages. So I'm able to coach them along with playing. So it's a great experience. Um, I'm trying to stay in shape as best I can in that
Hmm.
process as well, right? But it's been good, because like, going up against our guys every day. If a scout team, if we don't bring it, well then the ones and twos, they're gonna take a step back. They're gonna relax. If we're turning the ball over and we're missing the mental reps or these few reps that we have in these quick turnarounds, that we're failing those guys. So it's just very, very, very important that we give them our 110% during the season. Um, but yeah, so then after that, it's just film. It's film, film, film. I'm in a, we call it the war room. It's the film room with about, five or six of, we have a video coordinator in there, coordinator analytics, GAs, everybody. And man, the amount of film that's watched in that place, it's unbelievable. But, that's just what it takes as far as, making sure that, the message that we're relaying, the things that we're seeing, it's very clear to the guys. And is something that if we see something, we can all the assistant coaches, everybody, our offices are right next to each other and constantly in discussion on the adjustments throughout game to game. It's these quick turnarounds. So it's early morning, late nights, whatever that looks like, but just constantly going over the game plan, seeing wrinkles. As Big Ten team, it's an amazing league, not only a skill but it's an amazing coaching league. As you have people who can find little wrinkles and things that you didn't know you needed to work on that come to light, and so just making the proper adjustments, and that's that you find that in film. So just a lot of meetings and things like that, and then obviously being the recruiting side. Right now I'm focused on our high school classes right now, making sure we're getting them up to speed, seeing what's out there, going into some high school games, things like that. And then obviously the portal doesn't open till April, now that new window just opened
Hmm.
up. So, that it's about to get hectic now, but still knowing what's out there and constantly just staying sharp on the college basketball world. That way, portal opens, you're not behind. You're right, because when it opens, it's free game, and it's we just got to find what's best and fits Coach Hoiberg's program. Um, and yeah, so it kind of routine, and that's kind of my point. You know, being 17-0 to this point is great and everything, but you still got to check in, and you got to do your work. It's never going to change. The work's always going to be there. So there's always work to be done. So
Yeah, and I envy you in your position because you have one point where, you're on scout team, you're in the film room, you're trying to get these guys going, and it's a perfect season. So you're trying to have that. And then on the other side, you got to get people in here for next year. You got the portal that, I mean, I don't think it's as bad as college football, but
sure.
it's still another wrinkle that you have to pay attention to. So, man, I mean, obviously you're doing a great job because
I appreciate
the people that you brought in, they're working. So, but I don't envy your position at all, and I have much respect for you and coaches like you that do the hard work and the dirty work, and it doesn't get seen that often. And when you're talking about these new crop players, not specifically, but just in general around the country, it seems like AAU has been a big topic when it comes to development. Um, there's a lot of comparisons with the overseas players because they're playing professional at 13, 14. And then you have here in the States, it's all AAU and training. And it seems like kids are getting away from just playing. LeBron mentioned it a lot, which is like, I never had a trainer when I was in high school. We just played. Me and you grew up in an era where, I mean, the further west you go in Nebraska, the less trainers you're going to see. There is none.
it.
We
Absolutely.
just played. All you do is you play basketball, or you get in trouble. That's just it.
Yeah, that's it.
So, with that being said, is there a development issue? Is there a lack of development when it comes to American high school players, or are we just seeing the talent just disperse everywhere?
Yeah, I don't necessarily think it's a problem. I just think that basketball's spreading. And I think it's a good thing,
Hmm.
right? I mean, there's a lot of different minds in it and different skills and ideas in the space. So, that's just the name of the game right now. It's a game that's it's grown just from however many 20 years, how much basketball has grown and the impact that it's made throughout the world is really cool. So I have a hard time saying it's like, oh, it's ruined. It's different. It's different. I understand that. But I think there's a lot of resources for kids to get better and to stay out of trouble, a thing of that nature. And, I think some people reflected on kind of the makeup of college basketball rosters now,
Hmm.
and they mistake that there's been a lack of development, but in reality, the average age of just a college basketball player has increased
Yeah.
with these COVID years and all these years of eligibility and et cetera. I think that's just changed. Like there's just grown men out there right now.
Hmm.
And I can't speak for every program, but here at the University of Nebraska, we're still going to look at high school kids, right? If it's about fit. So to me, I like it because I know kids are playing the game of basketball and they love it, and it's becoming a thing where it's talked about worldwide. And now we're bringing in players from, I mean, we have 4 or 5 international guys just on our team alone, and just hearing their story and how basketball brought them to Lincoln, Nebraska. So there's tons of different new ideas and everything like that. And I know that LeBron, and obviously I've seen those type of videos as well. But personally, I don't think it's necessarily an issue. I just the one thing I would say is I can't believe how much they're playing.
Hmm.
As far as just these AU tournaments, like they're playing 7, 8 games. I'm like, oh my goodness. Like,
Yeah,
I'm just thinking for these kids, just making sure that they stay fresh and ready. And so that way, when the opportunity does arise, that their talent has been maximized and they're ready to take that next step and learn a college system and become a professional as a player and as a man, just carrying yourself um, in a proper manner. I just don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I always love seeing everybody just love the game, and
for sure.
however in different fashions and everything like that. So,
And that's the most important thing, as long as you're loving the game, I have no problem with it. And I think you are right. I think the talent is dispersed. You know, and think about it. We grew up with Ball's Life. Now
yeah, right.
everybody seems like they have a Ball's
Everybody's
Life.
got a mixtape. I'm jealous. I
Everybody's
was,
got
I
one.
was, I was like, man, I want one so bad, right?
I know.
Wish I had a camera on the baseline. Now it's like every gym you walk into.
Everyone. But that's a good thing for exposure and stuff like
Absolutely.
that.
No, for
Let,
sure.
let me let me ask you a question because I talk to a lot of young coaches. I talk to a lot of older coaches from the high school, college level, just on private, personal stuff. And I always ask them like, what was the moment that you decided, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to be a coach. Kind of tell us when that moment was for you, and how did it come about?
Yeah, so it's kind of unique. Obviously, I played as long as I felt like I could. I played in college and I didn't finish out all 4 years, quite frankly. I got burnt out. I played since second, third grade, and I just didn't have the same love for it as I did playing basketball. Um, but then I transferred to the University of Nebraska, and I remember sitting in class just going like, I don't have a routine. I don't have basketball in my life. I don't know what I'm going to be doing. I'm sitting in class, I'm in a business class, and I'm sitting here like, this isn't really what I want to do necessarily. I just know that this is the next step for me, so I just have to accept it. I just couldn't do it. I was like, basketball, just everything. I know it's what I'm comfortable with and I'm confident in. Um, and just that camaraderie feeling, that you get winning games, losing games, bus rides, playing whatever. I missed it, and so I was fortunate enough that Nebraska had tweeted out that they needed managers. So my senior year, I was like, you know what? My parents were on me. They're like, just do it. It's gonna be different. It might just be a 1 year thing. Um, I know it's not playing, but you never know what the opportunity, what could come from this. So
Yeah.
my senior year, I had the towel over my shoulder and, water boy and wiping up sweat. And it was a shock. It was like, dang, I'm not in the locker room anymore, right? I'm a manager, so it's kind of an ego shot as well, you know, and but I just love the routine and knowing that I'm still around competing. I'm seeing guys compete each and every day. That's what I needed to be around. So lucky enough, they asked me to come back to be a GA, and I was so excited. Not knowing what I wanted to do with it, I didn't know if I wanted to coach, be an agent, uh, just be in the operations space. I didn't know what I wanted from it still to that point, being a GA. Um, and as a GA, you know, I had guys like Coach Hoiberg, Coach Nate Lenzer, um, you know, two guys that, you know, kind of pushed me. You know, I kind of was in their ear about, you know, I think maybe I want to coach, and they treated me like one. You know, if I'm messing up, then they got after me, and you know, I was it was a little frustrating, but at the same time, it's like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, you know, I'm helping guys in workouts, and they're going out and doing it during a game and seeing them just light up with joy and having that bond is like, you know, we worked on that. Um, that's really cool. And it's something that I realized it was like, you know, I wasn't meant to play this game. I was not some professional athlete and I wasn't meant to play this game forever, but I knew that I was supposed to be around the game. And now giving back and pouring into, you know, young men and guys who love the game just as much as I do, and going on the road, winning games, losing games, you know, everything that comes with it. I knew that's what I'm supposed to be doing. So it was in that GA spot really, and then fortunate enough, I've just been here ever since. Coach Hoiberg has blessed me with this opportunity, and I'm just trying to make the most of it, and just trying to do the little things each and every day, you know, and I'm just very thankful, very blessed to be in this spot.
Yeah, and lucky for you, I was actually a manager at Mid Plains my
That's
freshman
right.
year. Yeah, and when you talk about ego, that I know exactly what you're talking
Hey,
about. But
man, right?
our differences was you did it when you were done. I did it when I still thought I could, which
Right.
eventually I did. Shout out to York
Right.
College.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah. See,
yeah,
you did a
and
flip around.
for sure. And
It's
listen,
impressive, man.
all them filling up the water bottles, doing laundry, getting film, and then you're just seeing people. But on another thing, there was times where I actually helped coach. There was
Yeah,
times where I actually drew up some plays for, OC or Coach Glenny or whoever, So I could see the aspect of like, oh, maybe one day I will be a coach. And now, not now because, I'm not going back to school.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
So
I don't.
you doing big things, man.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I try. But when you're talking about Coach Hoiberg, I want to, ask you a question about him because he's obviously respected in the NBA. Okay, a lot of people know him from his D Rose years, and now what he's done with the University of Nebraska, especially from even last year, was a big jump. And then now you got this year, which is an even bigger jump. Kind of tell us how Coach Hoiberg is every day, being around him, understanding his philosophies, how he disciplines players. Talk to us about Coach Hoiberg for a second.
Oh man, just a great human being. A great person to work for, but just a great leader of men as well. You know, he's somebody who he's not too riled up. I know if you watch a game, you're not gonna see him sprinting up and down the sidelines, yelling, screaming, cussing at refs. That's not who he is, but he'll do it for his guys if he needs to, right? And if we're having a slow practice, he'll get after the guys like he needs to. But you know, he's a guy who's just the ultimate professional. And that's just kind of what trickles down throughout the staff is we all know we need to handle our P's and Q's. You know, like he's not gonna be hard on us in any type of way. But everybody knows we have a standard and you know what he needs from us. Everybody has a clear answer of what they need. And you just go out, do it to your best ability. And if he needs more, you go out and do that. And just, you know, he's somebody who's, you know, I'll tell you this, like our practices, hour and a half, hour 45.
Mm,
So there that's kind of that same profession like that's what you hear in the NBA, right? So
yeah.
it's never like we're going for 4 or 5 hours and we're watching a bunch of film and we're just screaming, yelling at each other and everybody's mad and you know everything
Hmm.
like that. It's a lot of talk, technique, style of play, understanding how he wants to play, how we want to play the game of basketball, and then his system. And it's just a ton of details. It's complex, and to our guys' credit, you have to have a very high Q um, for the game of basketball at this level. You have to think on both ends, and he really pushes guys. But it's somebody who you can go to about anything, um, and just someone who he's actually a really funny guy too. Where he's kind of quiet and he's business like, but Coach Hoiberg is hilarious.
He seems like
But
it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But he's just a great human. I'm grateful for work for such a good person, and I've definitely taken a lot of his coaching style, and I kind of try to envision myself. One day I want to be a head coach, so just every day, you know, trying to envision myself and see myself in his shoes and how he handles with such great professionalism and everything like that. So it's amazing, man.
Yeah, and he seems like somebody who like I would love to just have a sit down at dinner with. You
Yeah,
know what I
exactly.
mean?
Yeah,
Like he's just one of those guys. And when you talk about, your mentors and your influences, I believe Hoiberg will be up there. Who are your other influences and mentors? It could be anybody in the collegiate level. It could be in the NBA, people who are retired. Who do you look up to and who do you want to build yourself up as for a head coaching position sooner
yeah,
down the line?
sure. Yeah, no, I mean, being from Nebraska, seeing what Ty Lue has done, and you talk about it at Cleveland and what he's doing now at the Clippers. It's just always cool to envision myself. He's a small town Missouri kid, small town Nebraska kid. It's just somebody who I've always looked up to. Um, just as far as one, he did it at the NBA level. So I don't know if I ever truly want to go to that level. If I'm ever in that situation, it'd be amazing. But
Hmm.
just how he relates to players and being a former player, while still holding a locker room and still holding a standard. Because, I've seen podcasts and I've seen, his coaching philosophies and everything. And I just, he does an amazing job of from what I've seen and what from former players have said. Just, he holds a locker room and he's a former player and you can relate to him. You can go to him about anything, but there's still accountability. Um, he's amazing on the whiteboard, right? With the ATOs and everything like that. So he's still a ball coach. And so that's one guy who I've always looked up to.
That's a good person to look up to because, like you said, he is at the top of the top. Even with a roster that isn't as talented in the NBA, he still makes it work. Ty Lue is definitely at the top of the list. Another question for me, like I said before, you are very busy. You have a lot of things to do. Seems like you don't have any off time because, this is what you're in it for. How do you balance coaching and life? That's pretty much
Um,
the only question I got though.
Man, it's a great question.
Yeah,
And I'm still learning. I'm still learning.
right.
It's something that, you know, other mentors in my life have kind of put in my ear, like, hey man, you got to take care of yourself too. Don't just get consumed in this coaching stuff. And talking to coaches who have been here for several years, they said it was a little bit easier in the sense of everything wasn't so accessible. You didn't have I can't, you know, I can't go and watch 10 games back in the day. They'd go have a tape recorder or something, via whatever tape. Um, and so it just wasn't accessible, right? So for me, that's the biggest thing is after a game, win or lose, watch the game over, but then go to bed, like get
Yeah.
sleep, right? Um, don't be up all night worrying about what we could have done, what we should have done. If I was in the position, what would I have done? All that stuff, go to bed, right? So that's something that really just try to focus in on sleep. And it's something that we preach to our guys. So as a coach, if we're telling our players to get some sleep, why wouldn't we try to do the same? Um, uh, but yeah, I'm still learning because, it's easy to say that. But then, after a game, I'm just up thinking about, this defense possession, how we missed a rotation or what play they ran that was killing us all in the second half. So it's stuff that I'm still learning, but things that, just trying to get the proper sleep, work out when I can. If I'm obviously I practice with these guys, but getting a lift or run in, something like that. Um, reading, I try to read the Bible, read some verses every once in a while. Try to just really hone in on that personal time, focusing in on that, resting in that, and just not letting it consume you or bring it home with you, right? Maybe it's different than
Mhm.
turning on a game and basketball, enjoying it, but the strategy with it and breaking everything down, just trying to when I'm at home, try not to bring basketball in the home. Um,
Mhm.
and so it's not easy, and I'm still learning. Obviously a younger guy, so there's probably better ways to go about it, and I'm still trying to find a perfect answer to that. But it's nice having mentors and reading up on the importance of what you're saying, balancing basketball and life. So
Yeah, I mean, listen, you have the perfect answer. You don't have any kids, you
yeah,
know?
I know, man. Hey, listen, I
Yeah.
understand. And that's obviously I kudos to all the coaches that do,
Hmm.
because I sit there and I imagine I go to my studio here by myself, and I just try to always put myself with two, three little ones running around.
Yeah.
So kudos to all the coaches because I can't imagine. But one day I might could be in that position. So for now, I just try to really hone in on myself.
Yeah. And that's always good, man. And you seem like you've always, from the time I've known you since you were a freshman at Broken Bow, you seem like you always had a good head on your shoulders. So you ain't
I
got nothing to
appreciate that.
worry about, man. But
Man, it takes one to know one, man.
right, right. I try to
Come on,
be. I
man.
try to be.
Come on.
These kids upstairs are crazy, boy.
Yeah, I know, man. Hey,
It
bless you,
is,
man.
but it is a blessing. It is a blessing. So this Nebraska team, 17-0, eighth in the country. Um, I think this is the first time that Nebraska's ever been ranked eighth in school history. You got Northwestern coming up, and then you have a bunch of tough games down the line. You know, college basketball is tough whoever you play. Without getting into X's and O's, what's the attack level for each and every game? Is it the same mentality every single game, or do you have to kind of switch it up depending on, okay, our team's kind of lackluster right now. We just got off, a tough game. Like, say it was Indiana, like 16 points, you were down at half, you came back and you won it. Is there a different mentality from like a Indiana performance versus the Oregon performance where you handled them?
Sure. I think it's obviously it's opponent by opponent, things change, but I think it's also the scheduling. Like, say we just had an emotional win against Michigan State before Indiana there. So that stuff like that can carry over a sense of satisfaction or complacency. Um, so having quick turnarounds like that, it can, or excuse me, it was at Ohio State, would have been at Ohio State. So having emotional wins like that, Michigan State, Ohio State, and then playing a quick turnaround at Indiana, um, stuff like that, can get you just because you feel good. And then you're tired, right? You just had a quick turnaround, didn't probably get as much rest, didn't get as much reps, in our scout, but it's more about taking care of ourselves and making sure that we get those mental reps in there. Um, but yeah, to me, it's less about the opponent and more just about us. And then that's kind of what we've honed in on is a respect all, fear none type of mentality. Respect 94. Just things that we know what we need to do night in, night out. Teams are going to do different stuff. That's fine. But how we handle adversity, because it's going to happen. There's going to be
Mhm.
runs. The other team's going to go on runs. How we handle that, the adjustments that we need to make during the game, be prepared for that. It's less about the opponent and just more about us, and that's how we've kind of approached this thing. Um, and understanding that each game, like to your point, is it's going to be different. We're going to have a quick turnaround here. We might have a week off here, and you kind of lose some rhythm there. Um, so yeah, long story short, long answer short, I mean, it's every opponent different to your point, but it's just mainly about us at this point. That's because that's what's got us to this point. So
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's a great mentality to have. And, when you talk, I can tell, even, because I've watched only on TV. I didn't go to any of the games. I need to
Need to get
because
you. Let me
it
know, man. You
looks.
know a guy.
I know. I
You
see
know a guy.
Dawson.
Come
I
on,
see
man.
Dawson on
Yeah.
court side.
Dawson, that's what I'm saying. We'll do
Yeah.
you right now.
Yep. I have to find a babysitter. Me and the wife might have to check
Yeah,
y'all
right.
out.
Yeah, yeah.
But here's what I noticed. Okay, it seems like you guys are having fun. And when you and I both know, when you have a confident team that it feels like everything is the green light, they are hard to beat. Now, this is a two-part question. How good is the player chemistry between the players, and how good is the coaches' chemistry between the coaches?
Sure. Yeah. So the players, obviously, you have guys who have played with each other before. Rank coming back is huge. He's a
Yeah.
leader. He knows how to play in coach's system. Um, but then you have guys like Sam Hoiberg, been in the system for 5 years, knows and then ins and outs and everything. Kale Jacobson, he's like a quarterback out there. He's a coach out there, literally. But then you have Jamarcus Lawrence, who obviously left, and now he's back, and he didn't skip a beat. So I'm
Nope.
really happy for him as well. And then you saw BK, who did really good things for us last year. Just basically fit in like a glove with this group, with guys who he necessarily hadn't played with, but stayed played the same in the same system, right?
Mhm.
So you're seeing that confidence, because these guys know who they are
Yeah.
as a player, but they also know who the guy next to him is. And they know that they can have accountability if this guy's not acting like the guy he is, right? Hey, that's a tough shot. We don't need those. That you're not gonna get, retaliation from that. You're not gonna get attitude from that. You can have the accountability, and ownership. So it takes you have to know yourself before obviously that you go and tell everybody else what it is, right? So that's what you're seeing. You're just seeing a really mature group, a high Q group that knows who they are and there's no delusions and thinking that there's somebody else or feeling like they need to play a certain style. Right? We have the recipe, just do what we do, right? And then to answer the second part, it's the confidence that you see Coach Hoiberg instill in his guys. Like, last game here, against Oregon, Frager started the game 1 for 3, 1 for 4 from three. And I see Coach, I saw Frager pass up about 2, 3, open more threes right after that because you know, missed a few. And he looking at him like, "What are you doing?
Yeah.
Shoot the ball,"
Shoot it.
you know.
Yeah.
And so obviously to have a head coach and a boss who's done it at the highest level and made a lot of shots in his career, right?
Hmm.
But guys look over, they're never looking over their shoulder, thinking, "Was that a bad shot? Is he about to yell at me? Am I about to get benched?" Um, he'll tell you, he'll pat you on the butt and say, "Hey, we can get a better one." But it's just that confidence that he instills in his players, that you see guys just thrive. And it's really cool to see once they feel that confidence. Um, and that confidence to your point as well within the staff, there's chemistry within the staff, like I'm learning from Coach Nate on the defensive side, right? I'm learning from Coach Hoiberg on the offensive side. But yet, guys like Justin Moore and Michael Bainey next to me, our analytics guy and our video guy, it's the same way. We've came up through this same system as well. So we know the messaging that Coach Hoiberg is wanting, and it's trickling down all the way through the assistants and the video room and everybody. And we're all pumping the same message into our guys. Um, and there's no mixed messaging,
Hmm.
So I think that confidence, knowing that coach knows that, when I work out a guy or our GAs are working out a guy, that we're going to be working on stuff that he wants. Or, if the guys have a question with an ATO or, defensive rotation that we can answer and there's clear answers. So it's a confidence, it's a chemistry that we've had, and that's got us to this point. And it's just nothing can change, right? We guys can't lose confidence as a staff. We can't lose confidence. We got to just continue plugging away at this thing. And you know, not being overly confident to where you think everything's sweet and you just
Yeah.
got it all figured out. Because in this league, there's amazing players and amazing coaches each and every night, regardless of record, that are gonna push you and challenge you, and bring things to light that you didn't know you needed to work on. So just continue to instill the confidence, but not gain a delusion by that, and try to be someone we're not.
Mhm.
So yeah, just keep pumping the same message that's gotten us to this point.
Yeah, and that seems like you have a well-oiled machine that has structure. And the good teams, any level, is just have structure. You kind of know the deal. This is the standard. You stick to it. All the coaches, because there's some horror stories out there from coaches that, you know, well, if I was head coach, I'd do this. And it seems like you guys are just on the same page, and your record shows it. So that's good to hear. Another thing that I want to get into is the fan base. Okay, now obviously, if you didn't know, I'm a Bama fan. Okay, but
Yeah,
I'm from Nebraska, so I understand Nebraska stands up for Nebraska. It's just it is what it is.
usually,
But you guys have turned a football school, a volleyball school, into now a pseudo basketball school for the year. When you around the town, or your friends, family, how does it feel to have the support, the fan base, all the student sections, and everybody across the state have your back for this basketball team?
sure. No, it's really cool. And I'm gonna hit on that first point. Um, it's so cool to be in an athletic department that all the different sports support each other.
Yeah,
It's unbelievable. If Coach Rule need anything our direction, vice versa, he's always there to help and lend a hand. He's always there to support us. If the volleyball they need anything, women's basketball, the Ing Williams and them, they're right down the hallway. And we're always just pulling for each other, always wishing each other luck. Coach Manning at wrestling, everything. So it's really, really cool um, to see the camaraderie with all the athletics just continuing to get better. But the support's unbelievable. The support back home in central and western Nebraska has been amazing. It's been really cool to got a couple, I had Anselmo, Myrna, I had Broken Bow, a few schools come down and catching game. And it's just so cool to see some of those kids that never been to Pinnacle Bank Arena before or never been to Lincoln before,
yeah,
make that trip down and just have them have that experience because ultimately, that's what they're all Husker fans. That just that maybe they don't get a chance to come down to Lincoln or ever catch a game.
yeah,
So there's Husker fans not only in Lincoln, Omaha, Grand Island, Kearney, but it goes all the way from Gearing, Scottsbluff, Alliance, Hershey, all the way through,
hmm,
right? So it's something that just we're gonna continue to try to spread by playing a style of basketball that it's easy to pull for, it's easy to cheer for. We're gonna have guys diving after loose balls with, up 20 with 3 minutes left, right?
yeah,
That's just what we want to do, and that's what has got us to this point. But the support's unbelievable. I can't, I don't know how many people I probably haven't been able to say thank you to formally that have reached out or anything like that. Um, or have sent videos of, you know, the team on TV, them watching, at a local place. It's unbelievable. And I'm really, really thankful for it's what motivates me personally, just being from here.
yeah,
Uh, just knowing that you have the support, and it's also the team that you grew up watching and pulling for. So, yeah, it's special. And we still haven't done anything and to our standards and to our goals. So we just continue to try to just do it for one another, do it for the state, and continue to just lean on each other through this time. And it's been fun, and yeah, the sport has just been unbelievable. Can't thank all these people enough. The advantage that we have at Pinnacle Bank Arena is unbelievable. It's something that hasn't quite got the national recognition. I don't think it's still a sleeper or an underdog, and that's because we have a lot of work to do. But to the fans' credit, it's unbelievable. The support and how rocking PBA gets, it's amazing. So
yeah. It is insane, and that's a good recruiting tool to use. The
hey,
fan base,
you said
hey,
it. You
they're
said it.
loyal. They're very
Yeah,
loyal. I'll take
no,
that. Yeah, yeah,
it's unbelievable, man. It's the guys know it's cool seeing recruits walk in on campus. and and seeing truly like how special it is, like whether you go to a football game, volleyball game, wrestling match, gymnastics, it doesn't matter. Like the recruits see that, and it's really cool to see with guys who maybe come from a city or something, they come across, the country, um, wherever that may be. And we don't have an NBA team, we don't have an NFL team, right?
Right.
So that is the Huskers. You are a professional. So seeing that kind of light flicker on in the sense of saying, wow, I'm gonna get stopped at the grocery store and ask for an autograph, or
Mhm.
yeah, that's real, and guys just feed into that. So it's really cool, and it's special. It's one of a kind, and yeah, I mean, Husker faithful. There's nothing better.
Yeah, it really is nothing. Me being outside looking in, like I've always said, Nebraska has the best fan base to ever have, on any college campus because of the loyalty, because of how they support, you know, not only just a school, but if you come out of Nebraska like a Bud Crawford, or
Right.
a Danny Woodhead,
Yeah,
it's always support. But
absolutely.
this is a fun question. It's my second to last question, but it's a fun question. Now, I
Okay.
need you to pay attention because
Okay.
I've been working on this for months, and
Okay.
Adam Silver has still have yet to email me back. So
Oh man.
I know
Man,
Fred
you're
might
slow.
have Adam. He might have Adam Silver's email. He might
Yeah.
have to just
All right.
hook me up.
Yeah. Yeah. We're
Here it
gonna have to
is.
get that done.
Check this out.
Okay.
All Star game. Okay.
Mm.
Excuse me. I have a new format.
Okay.
The free game format.
Yeah.
We're gonna go back to East versus West.
Okay.
The winning conference gets the play in tournament. Losing conference doesn't get the play in tournament.
That's tough.
It brings
I don't.
engagement,
It does. It
you
does.
know?
That's very interesting, and that's something too. I know there's been a lot of all-star talk of what they can do and all that stuff, but no, that's interesting. I don't. I like that. I like that. I've always been on the side of I hope they can bring one-on-one
Yeah, that too.
to All-Star Weekend. That's where I really stand. But that's interesting. That's the advantage in that. I see. I like that. I like that.
Yeah, I gotta push it out somehow.
Yeah,
Got to.
somehow we'll get the word out. We'll get the word out. It'll get up.
Yes,
It'll get
sir.
up. It'll get to the top.
Got to. Got to. But this is my final question for you. I asked this question to all the guests. It's deep, so just think about it. The question is, who is Paydn Borders?
Mm, that is deep.
Mhm.
Um, I will say, um, Peyton Borders. Yeah, I guess I've never been asked this question, Dion. I
That's what I
say,
do.
yeah, but you do it, huh? No, I say, I'm someone who tries to be as humble as I can be, and not forget where I'm from, because I feel like, small town Nebraska kid is my identity. It's something I don't try to run from. I try to own it and have that as a chip on my shoulder to know that, I can, if I work hard, and that's what that small town has instilled in me is, the work ethic, that I can achieve anything. And I give kudos to such an amazing mom and dad that I have that support me through it. Um, but yeah, I just try to be someone that is humble and just always wanting to learn, to have the humility that I don't know everything. Um, and that I'm still finding out who I am, still learning about myself, and just never being satisfied. Um, and someone who, I look up to a lot of people, and I've had a lot of good mentors, and I wouldn't be here without them. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I've never been asked that question, Dion, but I appreciate that, and I hope that I can continue to just try to build a good identity, for not only other people but for myself. Just continue to give back, to these guys who, I pour into. I love working with these guys at the University of Nebraska, and wherever this game takes me, I look forward to just continuing trying to impact people, and maybe not always be a coach, but just be someone who, can be an open ear with any type of life struggles,
Mhm.
anything like that. Just always be a coach, but also be a brother, uncle, father figure to anybody down the line. Um, so yeah, that's me, man.
Hey man, well, I'm gonna tell you this: there's a lot of young people out there that are just like you and I.
Yeah,
Like I said,
absolutely.
Western Nebraska, North Platte. It ain't is
Yeah,
it's a little bigger than Broken Bow, but
yeah, it
it's
is.
still
It is.
small. You
It
know,
is. It is.
it's it is a disadvantage when you think about it because you kind of have to move. You have to do a bunch of other stuff because of
It's
the
hard.
opportunities that you don't have.
Yeah,
So you are an inspiration to younger people. You are an inspiration to people who are your age group or a little bit younger that do want to coach. And man, you have been an amazing story. I hope this gets out there and I hope people watch it and I hope they understand how difficult it is to be in your position. And not only that, but to just go from a manager to a coaching staff right there. And listen, man, you are a part of this amazing season so far. It's not over yet, but you are a part of
absolutely.
this. And man, I'm so proud of you. I know I'm gonna
Appreciate you,
get a
bro.
lot of messages from people at work, people that watch the podcast, say, "Hey, man, tell Coach P that I said we
Yeah,
love the team." So I'm gonna do it now.
yeah.
I'm gonna do it
Nah,
now.
yeah,
Listen, we're proud of you guys, and we want to see you go all the way. Even me,
yeah,
I want when March comes, I want to see it all the way. But I know it's 24-hour rule. You're
yeah.
0-0 right now.
I
I
don't know.
understand,
You
but
know,
you keep going, man. You keep going, and we're
no,
proud of you.
no, that means the world, and forever's listening. I appreciate you, all the support. And Dion, I appreciate you just allowing me to be on this platform. It's really cool. Love listening to your stuff, man. And
Thanks.
it's cool being on the episode now.
Yeah.
It really means a lot, man. So, but yeah, just gonna keep working. And yeah, I just really, really blessed, man. And I just hope that anybody listening as well, like if you want to be a coach or you're a former player, you not know what to do, it's not just coaching. There's plenty of avenues in the game that you can always be around and being around this game that we all love. And yeah, if I can do anything, then please reach out. And if I can help out in any type of way, and if I can learn anything from you as well. So again,
Yeah.
Dion, I appreciate this platform, man, and yeah, keep doing your thing, man. And we got to get you to a game ASAP, man.
I know. I know.
We got to
Listen,
get
I'll
you to
find
a
a
game ASAP.
babysitter. But I will say
Make it
this
happen.
I appreciate you. You're always welcome on here if you ever want to come on. I thank you. I thank the team for bringing light and fun to
For
basketball.
sure.
I think it's very important. And yeah, we're going to get back to it. So good luck against Northwestern this
Appreciate
Saturday.
you, man.
So,
Appreciate you.
go get a dub.
For sure. No, I appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir. And that's free game. And we're out.